to apply it. Yeah. That's the main thing. Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining the PLC today. So I want to go over a couple things with you guys. I had to analyze some data for my course and look at some trends that we have. So I want to share that data with you guys. So after looking at our CASP results, I found out that 65% of our students are not proficient in math, and 54% of our students are not proficient in English. And then we also started testing our incoming freshmen with iReady software to show if they're at grade level yet in math and English. And we saw that only 47% of our students are at grade level in reading, in math, and 56% are at grade level in reading. So we have a huge disparity there. Basically, what it says is most of our students are not proficient in literacy and numeracy. Have you guys seen that?
No.
No?
Could we say? So that's bad. Okay. Yep. That's bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
And the blue is
So blue and green are proficient,
yes.
and then red and yellow are not below grade.
below.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
So especially
like
for
here,
them,
it's more than half,
right?
and then here,
It's
it's about
close to
half.
half, yeah.
Exactly. So going on with that, basically we need to make a plan to increase our literacy and numeracy in every subject. Okay. Another key trend that I found, I kind of isolated just the data for African American students, and I found that overall 78% of African American students are not proficient in math or English, and that was astronomical compared to any other subgroup that I looked at. Okay, so not only do we have that need to increase literacy and numeracy in our subjects, but we should also look at what we can do to focus on those subgroups, the African American population. So next steps. So I've outlined some steps that we're going to take as a PLC in order to increase that literacy and numeracy. Step number one, we're going to define what literacy is in our subject. Because literacy for me might not be the same as literacy for you. It's not going to be the same as literacy for a math class. It's not going to be the same as literacy for a cooking class. So we want to define what we want our students to know, what defines if they're literate in our subject. After that, we're going to start developing some common assessments, some key assignments that are going to show if they're literate. In order to do that, we're going to have to create a rubric in order to measure their growth in literacy. So that hopefully is going to help us increase literacy in our subjects. In order to tackle the issue of the subgroup that I identified, I think that I'm going to go to administration and talk about professional development opportunities that we can get some cultural responsive training on how to deal with cultures that are not the same with us and be more responsive to that kind of stuff. So that being said, today I think we're going to focus on step number one. Let's define what literacy means to us, and then we'll work later on the others. Okay? All right. So in biology, what do you guys think?
So I know when we're working in biology, one of my overall goals, especially with large-scale science, even when you start with like ecology, I'm trying to teach them something they can actually relate to within their life. So them being able to take a concept we've taught and be outside and be like, oh, that's where Mrs. Sweeney was teaching me this, and that's why. So.
Right. And beyond just knowing the key terms or the vocabulary, understanding the how it actually matters, like you said, what real world use they actually have for that vocabulary.
Definitely.
Instead of knowing photosynthesis and the definition, I'd rather they know, okay, that plant is taking in some of these molecules and putting out some of these and using that. So
Right.
knowing how it actually relates and how it all interconnects.
Yeah, that's a perfect example, like understanding that there's a relationship between that plan and I when they maybe would have never thought about that prior to it being brought to their attention and like going over a concept.
Right.
So what do you think we should have in our definition based on that?
Well, I like what Colby was saying, that it includes real world. It has to be real, not just memorizing facts.
Because especially when like you think about how you remember things, you usually have some sort of emotion or experience,
Right.
Connection, yes.
Experience with it.
Experience, yeah, connection to
Right.
material.
Yeah.
Real
let's,
world, which
like-
is connection.
Yeah, like
And
the scientific
experience.
concept, right?
Right. Yeah,
Alright, so maybe like applying what we've taught, just going beyond.
right, taking that information.
So, do you want like us to formally state like a definition?
Is there any other things you think they should have besides, or is that pretty much encompasses it all?
Yeah, because you see so many different things within each of our units and standards and
Right.
things, you kind of have to leave it a little bit more open, which I think would be our
Right.
overall goal
Right.
of this.
So it can apply to, right, okay, so, want to just throw out a maybe one sentence definition for literacy?
Okay, to apply,
So we'll start off, to be literate in biology.
Our students will apply
our students will apply concepts in biology or scientific
concepts, yes,
concepts.
to,
Concepts they've learned,
Will
maybe?
apply, sure, apply concepts they have learned to,
like, real world experience there.
In the real world. Experiences. I think that's really good, and it's broad, and it gives us leeway to be able to use that definition
for all
For-
of our units.
for the next step, which is creating units, and be able to apply that same definition of literacy to no matter what unit we're at and stuff. So I like it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.